In this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we'll join the Cape Cod Osprey Project as they erect safe nesting sites in Falmouth, get a recap of the Black History Month events that were planned by the Woods Hole Diversity Advisory Committee, and hear how the group One Falmouth brought together 14 nonprofit organizations for support and collaboration. All this and much more on this edition of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm your host, Michael Kasparian. As COVID-19 case counts continue to significantly taper off in the town of Falmouth, all key COVID-19 metrics, including deaths, cases, and hospitalizations, have continued to decline statewide as well. Masking is now mostly optional in our schools, and CDC and town-wide masking guidance has also been discussed prior to broadcast of this episode. The Friday briefings by Falmouth health agent Scott McGann are a good way to stay informed of the latest local, state, and federal guidance, and you can view the briefings on FCTV Government Channel 15, our Facebook page, and fctv.org. More than 30 people assembled on the Falmouth Village Green on Wednesday, February 23rd, for a Ukraine solidarity rally in the wake of the Russian attacks. Organized by leaders of the Falmouth faith community, demonstrators gathered in a circle and said the word peace aloud in a different language. This was followed by a moment of silence and interfaith prayer. Said Reverend Nell Fields of the Wacoit Congregational Church, small-scale demonstrations like this do matter because every time I stand out here, I might not change the world, but I'm making sure the world doesn't change me. It's time now for three things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
In last Monday night's Select Board meeting, consultants and representatives with the Sandwich Road Fire Station Building Committee gave a presentation to the board. The representatives detailed plans for the site and presented interior design layouts of the station.
This is the first floor plan. As you can see, or maybe not see, the area in the bottom is the entry that sort of faces out towards Sandwich Road. There'd be a small vestibule with a public toilet. The rest of the spaces of the building would be private spaces for fire department use. There's a small station officer watch room as well as a reports area.
Falmouth Wastewater Superintendent Amy Lowell presented to the board the 6 articles in the upcoming town meeting having to do with the wastewater treatment facility. Among these articles includes funding for improvements to the facility and funding for evaluation of options regarding the facility's discharge.
Cost of this project, I had said already, it's a $24 million project. I've broken it down into those same major groups. It does include a 25% contingency, which is appropriate at this point in the project. We have a good idea of the building blocks and the basic design of this, but we're more than a year. We're a year from going out to bid.
The board also approved the town manager's proposed appointment of the new Information Technology Director. Mr. Suso appointed Dawn Lewis to the position, citing her significant experience as IT Director in Fall River.
Ms. Dawn Lewis join us here this evening, and I am requesting that the board, respectfully requesting the board affirm my appointment of Ms. Dawn Lewis as IT Director for the town of Falmouth. Dawn joins us with considerable experience in the academic world, as well as very significant experience as a Municipal Information Technology Director, most recently in the city of Fall River.
To see the meetings in their entirety, check out Government Channel 15's program schedule at fctv.org. We turn now to this month's calendar segment. Join the Falmouth Public Library for its weekly installment of Friday Films on March 11th at 2 p.m. in the Herman Meeting Room to watch the movie Emma, based on the novel by Jane Austen. Registration is required, and this movie viewing is limited to 25 people. Register online at falmouthpubliclibrary.org. The Woods Hole Public Library will be holding its popular fabric and fiber sale on Sunday, March 13, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Volunteers are busy carefully measuring and labeling each piece of fabric, but it's not too late to contribute yarn and cloth from private collections. Donations will be accepted through March 9 until 5 p.m. For more information, call the library at 508-548-8961. On March 24th, from 6 to 7 p.m., join Independence House in partnership with the Cultural Center of Cape Cod for the White Ribbon Day. This annual international campaign invites men and boys to be part of the solution in ending violence against women and all forms of gender-based violence. This workshop event is hosted by the Independence House Men's Action Group and is free, but does require prior registration. Please call 508-394-7100 to be added to the list. Also on March 24th, don't forget to join us at 7 p.m. for our next virtual installment of our open mic series, Poetic License. Sign up for another night of poetry and prose, stories and songs, with entertainment provided by you and your friends and neighbors. March's suggested theme is Clouds. Pre-register by Wednesday, March 23rd to receive your Zoom login information. Check out fctv.org for more details. The gallery at FCTV reopens in March with a show titled A Photographic Mix, The Virtual View, featuring photography by Mark Chester, Robert Manns, and Lisa Jo Ruddy. The works will be on display throughout the month and is also featured on fctv.org as a virtual show. The gallery at FCTV is open by appointment, so check the FCTV website at fctv.org for registration information. And finally, the second annual FCTV membership drive kicks off in March. For a limited time, FCTV is offering free merchandise for existing members who bring in new members. All new members will receive a special gift as well. So why not support FCTV and take advantage of all we have to offer? Go to fctv.org for more information. After a quick break, we'll check in with Cape Cod Osprey Project volunteers as they erect new nesting sites. Stay with us.
Hi, we are Pat Harcourt and Jamie Hutchinson, altos who sing in the Falmouth Chorale. Why do people sing in the Falmouth Chorale? It's certainly not to get rich. It's to enrich the community and share a passion for musical excellence and the joy of singing.
We sing all kinds of music, from masterpieces like the Mozart Requiem to works about hope in current times.
We lift our voices together to enrich, educate, and inspire our audiences, and to provide them with a window into the world of diverse choral music.
Singing together since 1964, the Falmouth Chorale plays a central role in keeping great choral music alive in our community.
Who are we, you might ask? We are your friends and your neighbors.
We regularly invite children, young adult choirs, and dance groups from the community to perform with us.
For our concerts, we engage talented instrumentalists and professional soloists to bring out the power of live performances.
We are part of the community, just like you.
Visit our website at falmouthchorale.org to find out more about us, about our concerts, and about how to join us in keeping beautiful music alive on the Upper Cape. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Falmouth in Focus. For the past month, volunteers around Falmouth have been building platforms to provide safer alternative nesting sites for the 22 osprey nests currently resting on potentially dangerous utility poles. The volunteers are part of the Osprey Project, co-founded by Kevin Friel and Barbara Schneider, and on a cold, windy Saturday, Falmouth in Focus was there when the project volunteers installed the first 4 platforms into wetlands around Falmouth.
Our project has to do with fixing a problem that exists. Our problem is that we have osprey living on our utility poles. Our problem is that those cause fires. The problem is those cause power outages. The problem is that kills birds. So it's a sad situation, but it has to be remedied.
They frequently get electrocuted. They frequently will have a fire, and we had 9 power outages last season. We had a 10th one only a month ago. And what happened there is, again, dryness of the nest and then the sparks. We came up with this concept of a 4-prong approach, which was to first identify all the poles in Falmouth that had a potential for a fire or power outage. Then to identify if the ones that were problems had an alternative site nearby that could work. Then to approach Eversource and see what they would be willing to do. And then once we established all those things and we knew that the town would be behind where we wanted to put the new positions, we then said, all right, now I break off and I start to raise the funds. And you start to plan what it's going to look like and what we need for the poles. And we did that. And we started to approach people that own properties. We started to approach, we worked with Concom and reached out and met with Eversource. And over a period of months, Eversource agreed to put the deterrents, which you've seen on some of the poles around town, that is the curved piece. And they've also altered, because they know this is an issue all over, they've started to alter the way they're actually building the new poles. And they won't have a place for an osprey to build a nest on the new poles. And there are some of those going in as well. So whenever they're replacing a pole, they're doing it with the new configuration. On the old ones, they're putting up the curved half circle deterrent. So we feel like, all right, we've kept the birds from going to the problem area. We've saved wear and tear on the firemen and on the utility company, and we're giving the birds a fighting chance now. And we're actually making it happen. So as soon as the first bird lands, I'm going to feel like this was a huge success.
It started as a photography project. I just wanted to photograph all the birds. I wanted to photograph every single bird that lived in, every osprey that lived here and was born here. And very quickly realized that wasn't going to happen. It's just, I had to help them, not take pictures of them, you know?
Falmouth in Focus will return to this story when the osprey return at the end of March or early April. Thank you to Kevin Friel, Barbara Schneider, all the diligent members of the Osprey Project, and Eileen Preston for that story. Last month, FCTV aired a telethon for a brand new collaboration of 14 nonprofits called One Falmouth. We spoke with several of the members to see how the collaboration came together and how the telethon went.
I mean, these 14 nonprofits have been coming together for a year, 2 years, and all working together to educate our community about what's out there in terms of nonprofits and the amount of resources that are available in Falmouth for Falmouth residents. And just overwhelming. I mean, there was a big push of buy from local restaurants, order local, keep everything alive. And I think that creating this One Falmouth, having us all work together really supported that whole idea of like, you might be supporting an arts organization, but there's a food pantry, there's FCTV, there's historical. I mean, together we're just creating this amazing community. And so
we need to let people know that we're still out there. We navigated through the worst of it, but we're not done yet. And we kind of held together because we stuck together, and we want people to understand that the reason we're still here is because of each other and because of them, that our supporters made it a point to make sure that none of us went under.
So if we could do something collectively and say, look, through your donations, you can support all of these organizations. We thought that would be a great thing to do. Let's show that we're in this together, because we have been in this together. And that's how the idea of the fundraiser came to be.
One Falmouth was a great opportunity for organizations that normally work side by side to come together and collaborate. And in the telethon, there is the great video of We'll Make a New Way, which is the collaboration of all the 14 organizations coming together to promote one thing. And they really stepped up to work together, which was a great thing for Falmouth.
Being a part of this telethon experience and just joining One Falmouth as a collaboration was really exciting. I am so proud of the end result, and the telethon is just fantastic. And I feel like it really featured each of these charities so well. And, I learned so many things about them that I didn't even know. And, you think you know every one of them in town, and you always, can learn something new.
Anytime we can spread the word about our mission, obviously that's terrific, because some people don't realize what properties we own, or maybe don't realize they can go visit them. But personally, being a part of the One Falmouth Telethon, I enjoyed learning so much about other nonprofits and the good work that's going on right now in our community in a time that we kind of need a positive telethon.
I have to tell you, I've been here over 20 years. I've worked with most of these nonprofits in one capacity or another. And there were so many things that I didn't know that I learned from watching these videos. And I think that there was all this excitement that grew around learning about the organizations, seeing us work together as one.
I think it's important that, in good times and in bad, that we all find ways to support each other. I think it's incredibly important. You want to be the best in your industry, but it's most important to support your community and the people that you live with day in and day out.
You can still donate to One Falmouth and benefit all 14 organizations at onefalmouth.org/donate. Black Health and Wellness was the theme for this year's Black History Month celebration, sponsored by the Woods Hole Diversity Advisory Committee. As the community came together virtually to build a stronger community through diversity, we checked in with two of the committee's members to hear about their efforts.
The Woods Hole Diversity Advisory Committee was created by the Woods Hole Diversity Initiative, which is the 6 institutions in Woods Hole: the Sea Education Association, Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, United States Geological Survey, NOAA's Northeast Fisheries Science Center, the Woodwell Climate Research Center, formerly known as the Woods Hole Research Center, and the Marine Biological Laboratory. So the leaders of those 6 institutions created a memorandum of understanding in 2004, that said, we recognize that our institutions are not diverse, we are not inclusive, and we are not necessarily welcoming to diverse backgrounds of people. So they created the Diversity Initiative to make their institutions more diverse and inclusive. The Woods Hole Black History Month Committee, we are committed to making the Woods Hole environment a more inclusive and welcoming place, specifically by promoting African American history and culture. The Woods Hole Diversity Advisory Committee in general wants to make Woods Hole more diverse and inclusive by celebrating everyone.
The committee is usually responsible for planning, putting on events during the month of February. So this year, our theme focuses on the importance of Black health and wellness. The theme highlights not only the legacy of Black scholars and medical practitioners in the Western medicine, but it also considers other forms of non-traditional forms of wellness in Black communities that we've done very well. So we had events from a book reading event with young kids from K through 2. We also had a number of guest speakers who spoke on a number of events related to health and wellness. And also we had a partnership with the Woods Hole Film Festival this year, which we brought the movie about the human nature, which talked about the enhancement of genetics. And it's really focused on the issue of sickle cell within African American, but it's a bit of a broader topic that's, really thought-provoking and really gets to the heart of the impact of using genetics to enhance issues relative to healthcare. And so with that said, even though there's a lot of perspectives about why we celebrate Black History Month and we pick a single month, but it's my hope that it's not viewed as a period of being divisive, but rather that we can look back at our history as all Americans and see ourselves playing a role in the freedom struggle.
I really would like to emphasize that even though our committee is called the Woods Hole Diversity Advisory Committee, and we have the Woods Hole Black History Month Committee, these are really committees that we want the entire Falmouth and perhaps Cape and countrywide community to enjoy with us, especially in this virtual setting where anybody from anywhere can participate. But when we get back to doing things in person, we really want to have people from the greater Falmouth community participate in our events. We keep the name Woods Hole Black History Month to honor the legacy of the African-American scientists who started Black History Month specifically in Woods Hole. But we really do want to make sure that people in the Falmouth community know that these events are open to everyone and we want to participate. And Woods Hole is a piece of Falmouth, but Woods Hole is not separate from Falmouth.
More information about the committee and their future events can be found on their website, woodsholediversity.org. Thank you to Andrew Richards for bringing us this story. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll check in with Falmouth Public Schools for some updates to their response to COVID-19. Stay with us. With recent changes to state guidelines to school masking requirements, the Falmouth School Committee voted recently to make masking optional in the Falmouth Public Schools with some exceptions. Here's more about the changes that impact K-12 students and families.
Well, we're into March, and as you know, March is a time when winter is changing over to spring and things are changing as far as the COVID virus goes as well. Thankfully, cases and hospitalizations are down, and that means that for most students, we're able to offer the opportunity to take a mask off and to still feel safe at school. Remember as well that there are certain times when it's still important to wear a mask. If you are recovering from COVID infection and you're in that day 6 to 10 period where you're allowed to be back with people, but you are not clear for takeoff, then it's still important to keep that mask on and make sure you're wearing it properly with the mask over the nose as well as the mouth. There may be other times when a student chooses to wear a mask. Perhaps they have a family member at home or another person they care about or are in contact with who has an underlying condition or who is elderly. Perhaps the student just feels more comfortable that way. And I hope that everyone will be respectful of teachers, students, other staff who, for their own personal comfort or for whatever their health reason is that they don't necessarily want to talk about, that they keep the mask on, and so that in this time of transition, we can all do something that we feel safe about. I also want to put a plug in for immunization. We certainly have a good overall vaccination rate in Falmouth for COVID, but our young people have lagged behind where we would like to be and behind some other communities in Massachusetts. So we'd really like to see people still going out and getting their COVID vaccine so that we can increase the immunity in the community and everyone can be healthier. Finally, I want to remind you that the home test kits are available, and we really hope that a lot of families and students will take advantage of that because it's a quick way to test yourself each week to make sure you're okay, but it's also a way that if there's any concern, you have a test right at home, you can do it, and if you get a positive, then it saves you going in from home into the school, and again will help to keep your school safer.
Thanks to Ryan Weber for that report. FCTV wants to remind you that television can be as easy as hitting record on your smartphone. We'd like to invite all Falmouth residents and visitors to share their slice of life with us. Email us your photos and videos, or upload them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag MyFalmouth or Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We leave you now with this week's sights and sounds from the One Falmouth Telethon. Thank you for watching Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.
You can count on me, just wait and see what we can do when we come together. We can brave any storm, any weather, just keep looking up. Hold your head high, 'cause we will rise up this time. And we won't ever stop reaching for that sky. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll come together. We'll make a new way that lasts forever. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll come together. We'll make a new way that lasts forever. It's time to let go, 'cause we all got hope that we could share a better future. More love and peace and laughter to help us on our way to a brighter day. And I want to be there by your side when we arrive on the other side. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll come together. We'll make a new way that lasts forever. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll come together. We'll make a new way that lasts forever. Come one, come all, together we can fall. Yeah. We can't look back. We must press on and on and on. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll come together. Baby, let's make a new way. Baby, let's make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way, we'll come together. We'll make a new way that lasts forever. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way. We'll make a new way, we'll come together. We'll make a new way that lasts forever. We'll make a new way. We'll come together, last forever.